Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very exciting edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast. It's our 5th anniversary season. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, pop culture entertainment news website. If you're listening to our audio platform, download this episode and every other episode, and please give us a 5-star rating. I really appreciate it. There are no words to say this, but I am so honored and privileged to welcome not one, but 2 reality TV legends in the house. We first saw them on Real World Los Angeles, and more recently in Paramount, The Real World Homecoming Los Angeles. One is a returning guest of mine. He is Jon Brennan. He won Real World All-Stars, and he's a country music singer. And I'm so honored and privileged to welcome his co-host, Beth Stolarczyk. She won the finals of Real World Road Rules, and throughout her career on the show called The Challenge, she won 21 daily wins, 2 elimination wins. And then when she appeared on All Stars 1 and 3, she won 1 daily and 1 elimination win. And she's also the CEO of Illusion Lashes Beverly Hills. And together they're the co-hosts of one of my favorite podcasts, Getting Real with Jon and Beth. So please let me welcome Jon and Beth to the podcast.
Woo! Thank you, Jacob. Wow, that was quite the intro, Beth.
Jacob, it's so nice to be here. Thanks for having us.
You're so welcome. I'm so honored to have for you guys take time out of your schedule to talk with me. I really appreciate it.
You're a podcast star. Look, before we were doing a podcast, we were listening to yours. You're the legend. You're the mentor for podcasting here.
You are.
Do
you have any advice for us?
You guys are doing incredible. You guys have amazing. You are amazing storytellers, amazing conversationalists. I love your chemistry. And not only that, you have an incredible guest, which we'll get to in a moment. So I just want to get you on that. So
sweet.
Keep on going and keep on building, because your show is amazing.
Well, we're having fun with it. As you know, it's fun to do.
Absolutely. Before we get to all of that, it has been 31 years since Real World Los Angeles premiered. So in your humble opinions, how has reality TV evolved since your time in the Real World Los Angeles house?
Beth?
Oh, wow. Well, I think that, look, I saw the Real World New York, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I first started on reality TV. I was just obsessed with music and MTV, and I thought Eric Nies was hot. So I wanted to be in that MTV circle. So that's why I auditioned to be on the show. But back then, we didn't really have much direction when we were doing the show. And I just feel like now everything is very forced, and people are training themselves on social media. And they're all grooming themselves to be on a reality show. And I just think there's nothing like OG people from the beginning, because it was just real, raw, and authentic.
Yeah, nobody really knew what it was. Yeah. We were the guinea pigs, so we didn't have anything to compare it to. Now these new people, they've got literally 100 different reality shows to compare it to and put their twist on it, and to know, hey, we're going to be a little famous because this is a huge genre. Beth and I didn't have that, advantage, if you want to call it an advantage. We she knew that Eric Nies was hot, and I tend to agree with that, but that's all we knew. We didn't have any instructions or indication about what it was going to be like.
I can't believe it. And I got to say, you also reunited with your Paramount Plus for Real World Homecoming Los Angeles. So what's it mean to you to return to the Venice Beach home and to reunite with 5 of your former housemates?
It was so nostalgic. Everything about it. I just going up to the house for the first time.
It was creepy, weird.
So many years, I just could not believe it. Yeah. And it just all felt like a dream. And when I saw Tami, I felt like I was on like the Oprah Winfrey show or something. It was.
Yeah, where they bring out a blast from the past or something.
Yeah. It was. Look, it was great. I kind of wish that the Dahmer was there with us. He decided it wouldn't be best for him to do the reunion show. But I still think that we all kind of reverted back to our old selves in a lot of ways. And I think we have a lot of unfinished business. And I feel like we need to get back together again.
a third time in that same house. You know,
I
we
think
talked
that
about,
some things.
yeah. I mean, we talked about that the house seemed a lot smaller. You know, it was, of course, the exact same house and the exact same dimensions, but 30 years later, that house just didn't seem as large.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I agree with you, John. It's kind of like when you leave the house you grew up in and you're gone
Mhm.
for a while and you come back and it just seems a lot smaller than it used to
Yeah.
be because that was your world.
Yeah.
That was your world. Interesting, John. Yeah, Jacob,
I
well, what did you think watching us again?
It was amazing seeing all of you again, and it was amazing seeing that you guys had the opportunity to reunite with Magic, and it was magic to see all of you and to see Jon, see both of you back, see Tami back. There was just amazing chemistry, and also not to mention amazing moments as well.
Mhm. Yeah, it was weird back there talking about the same things, and they were showing clips on the TV about same, you know, the arguments that we'd had, you know, 30 years prior. And so let's rehash them now that we're 30 years older and wiser. And it was amazing. Not really many of our stances had changed. We were just kind of caricatures of our own self. But it was just eerie being back in the same exact house, talking about the same exact events. And you know, it was great. I think we enjoyed it, but it was it's one of those things where you know, you wish some things would have gone differently, but you also are just glad for the opportunity. I knew that phone call would ring one day. I knew that they'd call and say, we want to put the band back together for, you know, a short stint. And I knew that when they called, my answer would be yes immediately, because I had a great experience on the Real World. And you know, I started calling the roommates and seeing if they would be for it too. So it was a great opportunity that I really felt like was going to come one day.
I agree. I gotta say this. Now we gotta move from the Real World Homecoming into the Challenge All Stars. So, Beth, what did it mean for you to be part of the founding cast of the Challenge All Stars? And Jon, how has the Challenge All Stars inspired you to return to the Challenge world?
Well, I'm ready to go. I was ready to go the first time. I was on the first challenge ever. I was on challenges 1, 5, and 10. And so now they have these all-star OG challenges. You know, I thought, well, I'll be on the first one and no call, and well, I'll be on the second one. And so I'm waiting for my turn, but I'm sitting back enjoying it, and I love all the OGs they're casting, and I love watching my podcast co-host on there. She's a legend, and she's a fighter and a competitor.
Oh my gosh. I mean, All Stars 1 was a lot of fun. It was so fun to be back, and, yeah.
Fun to watch. It was fun to watch. It was just hilarious, honestly, Beth. It was funny to see you and Tech and Big Easy, and especially, I will say this. I always say this: the swimming competition. I know you said number one, it was really, really cold and it was really, really hard. But the music that they played, and to see older competitors, you know, kind of sucking wind and having to be rescued by the canoe guys, it was really funny, entertaining to watch.
It was funny. I mean, I was one of the very few women that could actually swim there and back. I didn't have to get rescued. I'm like the oldest woman there, and everyone was like, "Beth," and I did it first. I did it first. I was like, "I'm going out there first." Just imagine the coldest water you've ever been in. It was so, so cold. But yeah, no, it was a great time. All Stars 3, kind of a different story. Wish I could go back and give that a redo.
Not
Um,
as funny. Not as funny. What? Much more
not as
serious.
funny. Not as funny, not as funny. But I mean, look, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm ready to go, and today is a new day, and hoping to go back again someday.
You
Someday.
ready to go right now? If they called right now, Beth, you're ready to go?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm always training, right?
Yeah.
So I'm ready. I'm ready
Oh,
to go. When they call
she's
me,
smack talking, Jacob. She's smack
I
talking.
I will
I
I will be ready to go and compete. I'd love to compete one-on-one with people, not so much of it like a gang up. I
Ooh.
don't like
I
being ganged
agree.
up on.
I agree. I want to see you and Jon, and hopefully, if they can convince her, Julie and also Cyrus work together, because it'd be fun to see all four of you work against the entire house.
Julie, New Orleans, Julie.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh,
Wouldn't
Julie.
that be something, Beth?
Oh my gosh, Julie.
And Cyrus, that's quite the foursome you just named. Wow, that would be a great, chemistry.
I think it'd be so great if the producers actually let us pick who we wanted to take on a challenge with us.
Who would you choose? Would you choose Cyrus or choose me, Beth?
I choose you both. For like a team, like if we could put together our own team.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right. Okay.
Like if I was like the captain of a team and I got to pick any cast members I wanted, any OG cast members to be on my team, that would be
Who else? Fun. Let's say it's a team of 8. Who would you pick?
Oh my gosh. Well, you're putting me on the spot here.
I know. Well, this isn't our podcast. This is Jacob's podcast.
Well, so well, I mean, you're asking all the questions, John.
I'm just putting you on the spot here.
Jacob. Okay. So Jacob, I would go with Cyrus, John. I do Mark Long.
Oh.
Because we need some muscle. And
am I offended?
I would pick Ruthie. I would pick Kellyanne. She's fierce.
Okay. What about Flora? Flora's fierce.
I would pick Flora. And I mean me, of course. And then I don't know. I'd have to pick one more guy. I think I'd pick Eric Nies.
Oh, that team would be unstoppable.
Really?
I'm with the OG. If you guys
we would beat CT and Jordan. We'd beat CT and Jordan. Jacob, are you going on record as saying we would beat CT and Jordan and Rachel?
No, you guys would be the best team, one of the best entertaining teams that we've seen in years. That would wipe everything from Total Madness all the way from Battle of the Champions out.
We'd be like the Bad News Bears.
Which would be entertaining.
That would be more fun.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. Guys, just want to let you know, I wanted to transition out of All Stars because first of all, I've missed you guys on All Stars 4. I really wish both of you have come on All Stars 4. And I know there's a show on 40 that's coming, but however, I miss you guys both there. I wish both of you were there. But however, we got to move on because we got to talk about the podcast.
Okay.
All righty. So when did you decide to launch Getting Real with Jon and Beth?
Beth, you take this one. Beth is the spearhead of this.
Oh, well, I mean, I bought my equipment a long time ago, like pre-pandemic, because I thought it would be fun to mess around, and I thought maybe my kids might be interested in it. So it just kind of sat in my office for years. And I would always say to John, we should do our own podcast.
True story. She did.
I did for a long time, for years.
And I put it off, and I put her off, and I wasn't interested. Yeah. And then I started working with my record distribution place here in Nashville, and they said, you ought to do a podcast. As a matter of fact, we insist you need to do a podcast. And so not long after that, I was a guest at an event called Rockin' Pod here in Nashville, which was a podcast convention for rock and roll podcasters, and lots and lots of podcasts about rock and roll music and about music. And Pantheon Podcast, the Pantheon Network from San Francisco, was there as the sponsor, and they said, we think it'd be a great idea for you to do a podcast, and we'd be interested in having you on our platform, Pantheon Network. And I thought, well, you are the fourth person in my immediate world that's telling me I need to do a podcast. So I can't do this without Beth. And so they said, Beth, who? I said, well, my roommate from the real world. And they said, she'll do a podcast with you? I said, yeah, it's actually her idea. And they did a backflip. They're like, you and Beth doing a podcast is amazing. Like, we were excited about, just the potential of you doing it. But if you can get Beth to do a podcast with you, I said, I don't need to get her to do it. She's begging me to do it. She won't leave me alone, and she's sitting on go. And next thing you know, I called Beth and said, you want to do a podcast with me? She's like, yeah, why the change of heart? I'm like, I don't know. I just figured you were right. But this was all her idea. It was a good one. She's got good ideas, Jacob.
They're fabulous ideas, Beth. And I got to say, you guys have been improving and doing amazing things with your guests. I picked out several of my favorite episodes and I wanted to talk with you about them and your thoughts about them.
Oh, cool.
So Okay, so I want to start with your February 12th conversation with Ayana. It was very powerful to hear her story, not only her casting story, but also how about her health struggles. I gotta say, you both did a wonderful job with her, and I'm so glad Ayana is on the road to recovery.
Yeah, that was. Thought it was great that she wanted to talk about everything because you never know who's listening and how many lives she's changing by sharing her story. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was one of our most important episodes, and it wasn't that lighthearted. Our episodes are usually fun, and we talk about the show and we joke around, but Ayana's was pretty serious because she's battling breast cancer and doing well with it. Did her very last. I saw her journey on social media. She finished her last chemo treatment just the other day. And when we recorded our podcast episode with her, she was right in the middle of it. So she actually wasn't feeling well. And she, didn't want to be on camera, and she didn't really want to do the podcast that day. It wasn't a good day for her, but she knew how important it was for other women and men to hear, hey, go get checked. This is important. This is life threatening. And catch it early and all that. And so all that was just so important. It was a fabulous episode, a really, really important one. And, there's a GoFundMe page to help financially. And it's, I think the goal was like $10,000 and now it's up to $28,000. And so, she's got beautiful children at home, and she's doing well. She's going to have surgery and she's going to kick its butt, and she's amazing. And it was a great episode.
It was amazing. It was amazing. You guys did a wonderful job. And then another episode I loved was actually TJ's episode, and which aired on January 15th. I loved hearing his origin story because I want to let you guys know up front. I'm not like Scott or Mike who have been watching from the beginning. I came on when Paulie Calafiore came on, when Dave Vaughn came on, when Jay came on. So I came with the CBS people. So I was amazing to hear about not only about how he got into BMX, but also talk about how he got into the challenge as well.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the last time I appeared on the challenge was before TJ. So I've never met TJ, but I've befriended him, and he's so kind to banter back and forth with me on Instagram, and I've always just shot him a message and said, "Hey, we've never met." And that's because I'm O or G-er than you are. I mean, he's been doing the show for 25 years and we've never met. That's how old I am. So he came on our podcast on his 40th birthday, and he took the time out of his day on his 40th birthday. Now I know we dropped it a couple weeks after that, but it was his 40th birthday, and he's an important guest because he's a huge part of the show. Okay, he's a huge part of what makes the show awesome, and he was so gracious. And just his insight. He didn't give us any secrets or anything that he wasn't supposed to reveal. He was just a cool dude, talked about the show, and was a great guest, and really, really fabulous episode.
Oh wow, I got to add. Now we got to move on to Horacio because he's like, it's amazing to hear his journey and like how he went from sports and television to being an alternate writer guides, and like that was an insane road.
He's really cute.
Listen, Jacob, he is our most listened to podcast, and I gotta believe it has a lot to do with him being a 10 out of 10 when it comes to the adorable section. I mean, he's a nice guy. I think the title of the episode is "Nice Guys Finish First," but a fierce competitor and a great addition to the challenge. But overall, nice guy.
Yeah, he's very humble and down to earth, and that just makes him even cooler to me.
That's wonderful to hear because he is definitely someone that has definitely made the show a little exciting for in my generation. So I really hope he does more of these, and hopefully you guys get to cross paths with him.
Oh yeah. I can't wait for him to win. I want him to win a challenge.
Yeah, he deserves to win, and I'd like to hang with him. I mean, he'd be a good dude to hang with. But honestly, if I get a show with him, I'm gonna cut his knees out. Like I'm taking him to the cleaner. He's a good one to beat. You don't want to lose to anybody, but you don't want to lose to soccer player cutie guy on TV.
You're funny.
Alrighty. I got to say, I loved your Julie Peasy episode. It was amazing to hear her story.
Julie Peasy. Yeah, that was a fun one. Having her on the podcast. I was trying to get some information like who her favorite cast members are, but she wasn't going to budge on that.
Yeah, we tried to get some info out of her that she, shouldn't reveal, and she was good at avoiding any of that. But she's the president of Bunim-Murray, who is the production company that makes The Real World and The Road Rules and The Challenge and lots and lots of other things. But she's really come up through the ranks. We've known her a long, long time, and to see her now elevate to the president of Bunim-Murray Productions, and I mean, she's one of the big, huge decision makers, and she was gracious. Also, she didn't have to come on, and she did, and she's very, very busy, and yeah, it was super interesting.
I gotta say, Ryan, speaking of interesting, I gotta wind my last episode I want to talk to you about is Kennedy.
MTV legend. I mean, Kennedy saves the nation. And so, I mean, I grew up watching MTV and never thinking I was going to be on it. But, Kennedy was the host of, what was it called? Alternative Nation. And so, she was the cool person that was on the TV when we got home from school. And so she's super nice. And these people don't have to give you their time out of their day. And we're not paying our guests, and they don't have to come on, but they do it. And it was super nice. Yeah. It was very nostalgic, and she's funny. I mean, she's conservative, and she's now on Fox News, but we didn't talk about politics. We just talked about, our old MTV days. She was fun, right, Beth?
Oh, she was so fun, and she's a total fashion icon. I mean, I definitely wanted to be Kennedy when I was younger, for sure. I mean, she had the coolest job ever. Who didn't want Kennedy's job on MTV? Please. Dancing around with rock stars on the beach, just hanging out, having VIP access everywhere and anywhere people our age would want to go. I mean, she had the best job ever.
I was first introduced to Kennedy when I was watching Henry Luger's revival of Hollywood Squares.
Oh, she was a guest on Hollywood Squares?
Yeah, she was one of the squares, actually, and it was really. And I actually became a fan of her of hers when she first appeared on that show.
Oh, she's funny, isn't she? Like, I didn't see that, but I knew she was funny.
She's really funny. Guys, who are your dream guests, and why do you think it'd be a perfect addition to come on the podcast?
That's a great question.
I mean, I know who my dream guests are.
Oh, do tell.
John, you could probably answer that for me.
Well, Beth wants Julian Lennon.
Yeah, I want Julian Lennon.
Paul McCartney.
Mm-hmm. Julian Lennon, Paul McCartney, Howard Jones.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, those would be my dream guests. I don't think I could be able to control myself if I had any of those guys on my podcast.
How about this? For me, Hulk Hogan, Theo Von, and this is the twist. Theo has actually had Hulk Hogan on his podcast. So
wow.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Theo's big time. He's on with Joe Rogan. He's talking to Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan and Jelly Roll. I mean, Theo is knocking it out of the park. I'd love to have him. Who else? I mean, love to have, Garth Brooks or anybody. I mean, Shaq, Michael Jordan, these guys.
Jacob, we'd love to have you as a guest sometime.
Yeah.
I would love to be on your podcast, guys. It'd be an honor.
Well, we have had other podcasters on. Let's see. The first person that introduced me to you, Jacob, was who?
Mike Lewis.
The Mike Lewis podcast, a good friend of both of ours. We've had Mike Lewis on. We've had Challenge Mania. Scott Yeager from Challenge Mania has been on. So, I think it's super cool when podcasters mash it up like this. So good idea, Beth. Well, let's have Jacob on for sure. You're our dream guest.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. You guys are I'm grateful I've had both of you on this episode. I will, and maybe I'll reveal my dream guest on your episode.
Oh, well, you could reveal it right here on yours.
Oh, yeah. Who's your dream guest?
I would love to sit down with as you guys. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Got Talent fan. So the creator of Got Talent, Mr. Simon Cowell, I would love to have him.
Oh yeah, that'd be
on
huge.
the podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
Have you asked him? Have you reached out on Twitter or anything?
I haven't done that yet. I need to. It would be an honor if it was to make, maybe when I reach for my 300th, for my 400th, or 350th episode, it would be an honor to speak with him.
Well, I think what you should do, you've interviewed a lot of challenge people and a lot of awesome industry people with a lot of followers. When it comes time for you to start your campaign to get Simon's attention, just, start a hashtag and let all these other podcasters and guests know, and we'll break the internet and we'll try to get, his attention to come onto your podcast.
That would be amazing. And then also another one is I would love to talk with Kathie Lee Gifford. She's one of the legends when it comes to daytime television. And she's had not one, but two amazing partnerships on air with Hoda and with, of course, one of my heroes, Regis.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so great. You should reach out to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are the top two that speak to the top of my head.
That's awesome.
All righty. So what do you guys love about social media? Like, what are your favorite social media apps?
Beth's much better at it than I am, and she's got a lot more followers.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. What's my favorite? Instagram is probably my favorite.
Me too. But you're really good at TikTok.
I'm starting to have fun on TikTok, but I do love Instagram. Instagram is my comfort zone. Yeah. I love it.
And a little tidbit about Beth is she doesn't like Twitter or X, but she loves Threads. And I'm trying to convince her that it's the exact same thing.
Well, I don't love Threads.
I'd never heard of Threads. And she called me one day, Jacob, and she's like, you got to get on Threads. I'm like, slow down, talk slow. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what Threads is, but she was the first person to ever tell me about it. And she was all excited. I said, this is just like Twitter. She goes, no, I don't get Twitter, but this is cool. I'm like, okay.
All righty. So before we start wrapping up, I wanted to ask you guys, because we got so much success. You guys saw CT Intra-Show win Traders. Have you guys thought of any other shows you would love to compete on?
Jacob, listen, I don't know what's going on with whoever makes the Traders show, because I'm out of that loop, but I can't think of a bigger trader in the world than my real world housemate and podcast co-host. I mean, Beth Stolarczyk is the biggest traitor that I know. She deserves and belongs on this show. I mean, I'm just telling you, like, the first season was great. It really was. But I can't imagine them doing a season 2 without Beth. I mean, and maybe maybe I shouldn't just, throw it out there on the internet like this, because maybe they're trying to keep it a secret. But I honestly can't imagine them doing season 2 without Beth.
Season 3.
Season 3? See, I'm
season 3. They just won. CT Intra-Show won season 2.
Season 2, yeah.
They won season 2. Okay, so we want to have. I think a dream guest for us on our podcast would be CT or Trishelle, because I mean they're real world legends, both of them. Okay, what were they on? Las Vegas, and CT was on what?
Paris.
And then they're challenge legends for sure, and now they're villains. Legends. So I mean, CT and Trishelle, they'd be great guests for you. Have you had either one of them on?
No, because number one, I do not want to. I'm very close with some of my friends that are podcasters, like Paige of Most Likely To in TikTok, and Dylan, and of course Mike. I would love to have them, and of course Challenge Mania as well. But I don't want to step on their toes.
Oh, don't worry about. I've been on Dylan's. I've been on Dylan's podcast. He's awesome, and Challenge Mania is great. But don't worry, all is fair in love and podcast. You go get your guests, and if the other podcasters are mad about it, they can just sit there and do a confessional about it and pout. You go get your guest.
It would be an honor if I had the opportunity to talk with either one of them.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. I mean, look, I thought they were great on the Traders. I knew from the very beginning that they were going to win. I called it from the very beginning.
You did, Beth. See, and that's why she'd be so good. Beth deserves to be on Villains. She should be on House of Villains. She should be on Traders. She should be on the Challenge 40. She should be on everything controversial, because she's that kind of roommate. I'm just telling you.
Oh my God.
And I gotta say, Beth, you're the founding mother of reality television. And you're one of the greatest reality television
The founding mother. We have Mark the Godfather, and we have Beth the Founding Mother. Now we have an official title for her.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's going to stick.
All righty.
Thank you, Jacob.
You're so welcome. I got it. So, guys, why should my audience check out Getting Real with Jon and Beth?
Well, if you love reality TV, old school people, and you love music, it's probably a nice listen. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And it's original MTV reality TV stars and music. You love our podcast. Check it out.
And we're real. I mean, we talk about real life stuff. And we just had Nathaniel from the Seattle Real World on. He talked about his substance abuse and how he overcame that. We've had Ayana on. She's talking about her battle with breast cancer. Our next upcoming episode, we have the president of MTV Networks during the 80s and 90s when we were on it. And so Doug Herzog will be our guest. And it's not all just about reality TV. We just recorded a fantastic episode. Beth, if you don't mind, I'll let the cat out of the bag. Sure. We it hasn't dropped yet, but in just a couple of weeks, we'll be releasing a fantastic episode with the founder and the creator of Baywatch, which is now being rebooted. And so it's not all reality. It has got some other things mixed in there. Shooter Jennings, who's a Grammy Award-winning record producer and the son of Waylon Jennings and Jesse Coulter. So we have a mix in there and something for it, but it's lighthearted and it's fun and it's, it's interesting for sure. And other than that, they probably shouldn't tune in.
I mean, Jacob, have you heard the episode with Ray Ray?
I haven't checked out Ray Ray yet. I need to.
Yeah, he's from the band Chicago. You should listen to that one. That's a really good one. That's one of my favorites. I think that's a great episode.
It sure is.
All righty, guys. Last question. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Where can my audience not only find Getting Real with Jon and Beth, but where can they find you on social media?
Oh, Beth, ladies first.
You can catch me at Beth's Real World on all the platforms, Beth's Real World. And you could check out my eyelashes at illusionlashesbeverlyhills.com. EYELUSION, Illusion Lashes.
Yep. And my sister and sister-in-law love your lashes. And so every lady that I know loves your eyelashes. So ladies should definitely do that. And our roommates on the Real World at our homecoming enjoyed trying those on. And I'm at jonbrennan.com on all the social media. And, follow us. But we're also at Getting Real with Jon and Beth on Instagram. So our podcast has an Instagram at Getting Real with Jon and Beth. And all of our 28 episodes are streaming everywhere that podcasts are. And, go check them out. But Jacob, thanks for having us.
You're so welcome, guys. And guys, did you miss an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast? Visit our channels on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Spotify, and Spreaker. It's Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Now, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. And guys, if you want to catch my original interview with Jon and all my interviews from the Challenge Universe and all from reality television, visit jakes-shake.com. Once again, jakes-shake.com. Jon, Beth, it was a true honor to welcome both of you to the podcast, and I cannot wait to see what you guys do next.
And congratulations on your 9,000 downloads. That's huge, and you do a great show.
Congratulations, Jacob.
Thank you guys so much. And guys, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, have a great one, everybody. Goodbye.